While we as fans of the Owl House may be frustrated with Luz for not being able to ascertain that Amity loves her, even though we as the fans think this is very clear, I've seen a lot of resentment directed at Amity for not being able to confess her feelings, and I think this is legitimate. If Amity just told the truth, Luz would almost certainly return her affections. I have no doubt about that. Then again, I think people are being a little too hard on Amity. It is true that there is no reason to believe that Luz would not be receptive. There is perhaps a 90% chance that Luz would be very accepting and very happy about Amity's confession, but that 10% chance is what Amity is really worried about, and perhaps she's not wrong to be worried about this. Amity has not had the most comfortable home life growing up, to put it very lightly. Her parents shaped her into the person she has become. They pressured her into being a person who prioritizes cultivating this air of confidence and superiority, of making people look up to you, not because you actually demonstrate that you're a compassionate, good, or caring person, but because, as a blight, Amity is taught that she is superior to others, and that others should view her as such. So she's become a person who affects this air of confidence, who affects this air of superiority, but who is in reality very self-conscious, very insecure, and extremely lonely. Not even Amity's so-called friends are really her friends. They're people her parents forced her to become friends with because the parents of these so-called friends are business associates of Amity's parents. So it was a risk for her to become close to Luz. It was a real risk. It was a risk for her to laugh around Luz and to be vulnerable around Luz and really open herself up to Luz. For the first time since her parents forced her to stop being friends with Willow, she has a friend, a real friend. Not someone whose parents are friends with her parents, but someone she can actually confide in, someone who she can actually trust. I do not blame her for not wanting to risk that friendship. I do not blame her for not wanting to risk that connection. What if she did go ahead and admit her feelings to Luz? And what if Luz rejected her? And what if that damaged the friendship between them? And what if they were never as close as they finally got to be at the end of Season 1? What then? Is there a significant chance of that happening? I don't know. Probably not. But what's important here is that the chance is not zero. It is a possibility, and it is a possibility Amity is absolutely terrified of. The question becomes whether Amity can go ahead and put herself out there, whether she can admit her feelings to Luz. It's not going to be an easy challenge, I'll fully admit that. But it is an important one. It is an important step for her. Openly admit that she has these feelings for Luz. I doubt Luz will be able to catch on in the near future. Now, I do want to say that Luz, though very dense, is not the complete idiot that a lot of fan art portrays her as. She's not good at picking up on social cues, but she has this emotional intelligence that Amity lacks. She has this innate ability to connect with people. And she's not so absurdly boneheaded that she won't pick up on Amity's feelings if Amity presents these feelings in a very overt and obvious and undeniable manner. Blushing and flustered responses to anything Luz says may be obvious to us, the audience, but they're not obvious to Luz. Luz probably just thinks that she's acting weird, and she doesn't get why. So will Amity be able to do this? It's not quite clear at this point. We know from the Grom episode what Amity's biggest fear is, and that fear is rejection. So will she be able to transcend that fear? Will she be able to move beyond it and go ahead and chase her heart? Well, it's not quite clear. She's certainly more confident than she was before. And this is because she knows she can trust Luz. She knows that Luz will not abandon her, even when Luz learns unflattering facts about Amity. Luz will stand by her. Think about the episode in which they go into Willow's memories. When Luce discovers the truth about Amity, she could very easily have said, "Oh, I tried to give you a chance, but now that I see what you did to my friend Willow, I can't give you that chance. I have to reject you and think you're a bad person," but Luce doesn't do that. As importantly, it never crosses her mind to do that. Now, one could not say she necessarily fully empathizes with Amity, because Luce, as far as we know, does not have someone in her life who was trying to mold her, trying to shape her a certain way, and who punished her when she acted in a different way. But, again, Luce is not an idiot. She has this emotional intelligence, and she knows that even though Willow's pain is real and raw, Amity is not wholly to blame. She deserves to have the chance to change and become a better person. Slightly later, when we move into the Grudgeby episode, Amity does not expect Luce to stand by her. They have no chance to win. All looks like it's lost, but Luce doesn't care. Luce stands by Amity. She wants to be there for Amity. There is the clear indication that Luce will never betray Amity, regardless of the darkness in Amity's past and regardless of the current mire that is her situation of dealing with her parents. Luce won't run away. She will stand by Amity and help her through these difficult situations. It's very nice to have someone in your corner, especially when that someone is your crush. Amity grows bolder. She grows to act like the person she really always has been, at least deep in the depths of her heart. When we talk about redemption, what do we mean exactly? Do we mean who a person is in the depths of their being, or do we mean their actions? Is there really a difference between the two? Now, of course, you could have an extremely obvious case in which a character is 100% soul-crushing, skull and crossbones, mwahahahahaha, evil at the start of the series, and yet becomes a good and caring and compassionate person by the end. But life doesn't work like that, and neither does good fiction. People are more complicated than that. What do we say when we talk about a character like Zuko, who does some things that are definitely horrible and cause a lot of harm to people, but he does them for reasons that aren't evil. He does them out of a misguided and warped sense of what the good is, because he was raised in an environment that valued power and fealty over caring and compassion. Because of this, the way we talk about characters in YouTube videos and in fandom in general is really flawed in my eyes. Words like hero, villain, anti-hero, redemption arc. We throw these words around like they mean something, like they're as solid and unshakable as mathematical precepts, but in reality, they're just labels we try to apply to the vast spectrum of human experience. Any character who's actually a fully realized person does not always fit into these labels. You can apply these labels to the character, but they're a lot more than that. So yes, Amity was in fact a bully to Luce. Yes, in fact, Amity caused a lot of harm to Willow and a lot of her fellow students. Amity was also someone raised in an environment that prioritized composure and elegance and power and looking down on the so-called inferior masses instead of caring and the bond between two people, the universal goodness toward all living creatures. She was shaped into this person by an unjust and over-competitive environment. Yes, she has a good and tender heart, and yes, she has acted in ways that directly contradict that. All of these things are true, and none of them cancel out the others. It's not like you can make a list of pros and cons and say, oh, well, this character had 7 things go wrong with them, but they did 9 bad things, so they're evil. Life is more complicated than that. The pain Amity has caused is real, and so is the pain Amity has suffered. What we talk about when we talk about her redemption arc, if you want to call it that, is really just her becoming confident enough to act in such a way that reflects who she believes she really is and who she believes she wants to be. She's able to reject the conditioning she's undergone and reject these false ideas about herself, and act not as the person others view her as, but as the person she herself believes she is. She's confident enough to really assert control over herself. This is who I am. These views about me are not true. She's able to take ownership of herself, to stop dealing with herself in bad faith, as Sartre might put it. That she is willing to become friends with Luce, even though Luce is the exact opposite of all the qualities her parents prize, is huge. It demonstrates that she's really taking control of her life. She's freeing herself from her parents' control, and that's big. And admitting her feelings for Luce would be another step down this path. I think it will happen soon enough. There's no reason to believe it won't. The growing boldness in her character is a brilliant way to develop her, a brilliant way to demonstrate the person she is becoming. She's really beginning to exert an air of real confidence, not the snobbishness and arrogance masquerading as confidence, but the real pure thing. However, this confidence also is leading, I think, to her finally being able to admit her feelings to Luce. Maybe that will happen in a moment of passion. Maybe the words will just burst out. Maybe neither of them will expect for it to happen. Maybe Amity will become nervous and be a little ashamed of what she just said until Luce says it's alright, and that Luce really appreciated that, and that Luce actually loves her and returns these affections. Amity's nervousness would then melt away, I believe. Amity will start to become more comfortable with these words and with these feelings because they're the truth. They're her actual feelings, not the feelings of her environment that she's trying to pretend are her own feelings. Finally, she's being true to herself, and that's a wonderful thing. So thank you all for watching. If you liked what you saw today, don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. Donate to my Patreon if you can and you want to see more videos like this. Keep watching The Owl House. It's a lovely little gem of a show. It's brilliant, it's compassionate, so full of tenderness and empathy. And I really do enjoy this budding relationship between Luce and Amity. I can't wait to see where the show goes with this relationship and how they develop it moving forward. Also, I apologize if my voice has sounded a little hoarse throughout this video. This is my second time recording this. The first time, I thought I was done. I thought everything was complete. And then I checked my recording and realized that it mysteriously was not there. So I had to record the entire thing over again. So yeah, my voice is kind of hoarse. So sorry for that. I hope it's nonetheless clear enough. Anyway, tune in soon for my next analysis. It will be coming soon. I promise you all that. Thank you all again. Adios, comrades.